All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. After a small bit of speculation on getting a contract extension done before training camp, the New York Football Giants and Pro Bowl defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence came to an agreement today on a 4-year extension for 90 million with 60 million of that being guaranteed. Lawrence is coming off of his most productive season with the Giants as he tallied 7.5 sacks this past season, which resulted in his first Pro Bowl nod. Lawrence had one more year on his rookie deal, and what a better time than right now for the big fella to cash in. Tennessee Titans defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons, who was taken in the same draft as Lawrence. Actually, he was taken two spots behind Dexter Lawrence in that draft. Earlier this offseason, he got a 4-year deal for 94 million, with 66 million of that being guaranteed from the Tennessee Titans to remain in Nashville. Now, Lawrence was able to get in the ballpark in regards to the money, is now only Simmons and Aaron Donald of the Los Angeles Rams are making more money at the defensive tackle position in the NFL than him. The Giants have now come to agreements on long-term deals with two of the first-round picks of former general manager Dave Gettleman. And of course, Gettleman was the guy who drafted Lawrence, and he also drafted quarterback Daniel Jones, who got his deal done this offseason, not to mention running back Saquon Barkley getting the franchise tag. The Giants this offseason have focused on their defensive line, as aside from re signing Lawrence, they also signed Raheem Nunez Roaches on the D line, as well as Ashawn Robinson. New York also resigned edge rusher O'Shane Simonez yesterday. With all of this money that's being put into the D line this offseason for the Giants, you have to wonder, is a pay cut around the corner for Leonard Williams? He has a base salary of 18 million for next season with a cap hit north of 32 million dollars. And let's not forget, Daniel Jones just got his new deal. It's flexible and cap friendly for the Giants, and now they're taking and making the most of this opportunity as far as putting a team around DJ. Now, of course, we're talking about all these guys getting money from the Giants. Is Saquon Barkley next? Yes, he got his franchise tag, but he is still seeking his long-term deal. The Giants, and Barkley, there's still some ways apart on that. Definitely with the guaranteed money, I would expect. Again, this is from an outsider's perspective that the Giants are probably pushing more incentive money than guaranteed money, just due to the fact of the position that Barkley plays, along with his injury history. But make no mistake about it, Saquon is the heart and soul of that Giants team, and he is also their leader. You cannot put a price tag on those things. But for Giants GM Joe Shane, he is definitely building this roster in his own image, and he's not been afraid to retain some of Gettleman's guys. You think about it, typically when a new GM and a new head coach like Brian Daboll take over for a team that has been so down on its luck for so long, you're definitely going to go out there and have a roster overhaul. You're definitely going to bring in your own guys, and the Giants have done that, but there has been some retention as well, and that's a big thing. As the Giants are looking to build off of last year's surprising trip to the postseason. Not to mention this offseason as well. New York had a very solid draft last week, bringing in guys like Jalen Hyatt, the wide receiver from Tennessee in the third round, just to name one of the quality draft picks that the Giants got. So if you're the Giants, it's all about trying to keep up with both the Philadelphia Eagles and Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East. And I talked about this a couple of days ago. The Eagles have done a tremendous job in not only drafting, but, developing depth. And, for the Dallas Cowboys and the Jerry Jones, I know that they have not won a Super Bowl championship in quite some time, but the Dallas Cowboys have done a solid job in drafting. They just have some issues at times at the quarterback position, but nonetheless, Jerry and his team have done a pretty good job as far as drafting. And if you're the Giants, these are the two teams that you have to go through if you are going to consistently be a playoff team and try to get out of the NFC East. You got to try to find a way to beat Dallas and Philly. And of course, in those four head-to-head matchups last year, New York went 0-4. But nonetheless, it's all about developing your depth if you're the Giants. It's all about retaining your quality players and definitely beefing up that pass rush as you're trying to look to slow down the likes of Dak Prescott at quarterback for Dallas. And then, of course, Jalen Hurts for the Eagles and that power running game that Philly possesses. So, with Dexter Lawrence getting his money and with Jeffrey Simmons getting his money, is Quinnen Williams next? I mean, we talked about it. You look at this draft. Quinnen Williams went third overall to the Jets in 2019. And then, of course, Dexter Lawrence went 17th overall. That was a pick that the Giants got from the Cleveland Browns for the Odell Beckham trade. That was one of the picks, at least, that they got. And then, of course, I talked about Jeffrey Simmons going two picks behind Lawrence at number 19 at Tennessee. So you'd have to expect, Quinnen Williams is definitely going to be the next guy up to get his money from the DT position. You look at it, I'm sure he's looking and seeing the money that Jeffrey Simmons got. I'm sure he's sitting back and looking at the money that Dexter Lawrence just got. Two guys that went behind him in the draft. And of course, Lawrence, a guy who, you play at the same facility over in North Jersey. So nonetheless, it's going to be interesting to see if the Jets can take care of Williams because I guarantee you, sooner rather than later, he's going to want his money. So if you're the Giants, it's all about keeping your guys happy. You expected this deal to get done. I know that the media in New York has been attempting to make a big thing about, Dexter Lawrence and Saquon Barkley not really preparing to, attend giant OTAs, and rightfully so because they're looking for their long-term deals. Now, Dexter Lawrence got his money and he's going to be there. Saquon's going to stay out, and honestly, I don't blame him. He has to take care of himself, but I think even if a long-term deal is not struck between Saquon Barkley and the Giants between now and the start of training camp, I do expect Barkley to be there for training camp due to the fact that he is a leader for that team. I could be wrong at the same time, but at the end of the day, I do expect him to be there. I don't think that this was a difficult thing for the Giants to take care of. They were going to take care of it. That's what negotiations are all about. It's give and take until you find a happy medium. And of course, Joe Shane and Dexter Lawrence's agent or agency, whomever is representing him, were finally able to come to a deal that both the team and player are happy about. But nonetheless, Dexter Lawrence is going to continue to be a Giant, and let's see if he could build off of that year that he had last year that saw him make a Pro Bowl, not only for his pass rushing skills, but for his ability to disrupt things at the defensive tackle position on the interior offensive line, both in the passing game and running game. The defense was a big part of the Giants last year. I expect it to be that way once again under D coordinator Wink Martindale as they're looking to put together the pieces, and Lawrence is definitely a part of that. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, and I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.